Well, hey everybody, Dan McPherson here, and we are continuing our series Beauty from Ashes, looking at God's movement during COVID 19. And obviously, there's been a lot of things that have gone on, a lot of hurt and stress and uncertainty, but we've also seen God move in some really cool ways. And so each week we've been looking at that in someone's life. So we've taken different students along the way. And today we're here with Andrew Siemens. Andrew just graduated from West Jessamine. And tell us your plans for the fall. What's going on?
I'm going to attend Asbury University.
A great university.
I'm majoring in history. And I'm rooming with a guy named Nicholas T. Goldbart from North Carolina.
How do you spell his last name?
Gulluitburt.
That can't be right.
No, it's probably not.
And you told me that you're looking forward to meeting. He doesn't have social media.
No.
So you're looking forward to meeting him and getting to know him.
Yeah.
Have you written letters to him?
We've texted a little.
Okay, texted.
Yeah.
Okay.
He actually reached out to me, so that was good.
Okay.
I was very relieved because I was hunting him down, and
yes. Okay. Okay. Good. So he has texting, just
Yeah.
not social media. Okay. All right. Good deal. So we were kind of talking a little bit earlier, and just you were kind of sharing your heart, and so I wanted to just kind of follow up with that about ways that you have seen God working in you, or really kind of what's been going on in your heart and mind during coronavirus, during quarantine. So talk a little bit about that, kind of your journey through that.
So I would like to say that it made me a better person, more compassionate, and initially I got out of high school early, and it kind of did, because it brought me into a safer place, which is my home, than a place I was at school. And I kind of retreated back home, and I just kind of enjoyed life. I spent a lot of time in nature, and I felt like I was really compassionate then. I think I was able to recognize what God was doing in my life and other people's lives, and I saw the good He was working in every single person's home at that time. But as time went on, I started to get more lonely and more entitled with myself. And as the world started to break down around me, I think as a person, I kind of broke too.
Mm-hmm.
And I really became a mean person. And God kind of taught me a very important lesson, which is you become what you hate. Because I really hate seeing people mistreated. And I hate the people who mistreat others. But if you hate people deeply, you're going to become them. And I learned that kind of the hard way, and that was pretty painful. But I think God was able to, through that, kind of pull me out of a dark place again. And now I'm kind of back to my old self and a little bit wiser and better.
You mentioned with like race relations and all of the tension in the U.S. And kind of how that, with the mistreating of others, that was kind of what kind of capitulated that. And so I thought that was really good, just to kind of see that and feel that in yourself. I feel like the journey you've gone on of kind of like, kind of being in a healthy place, kind of enjoying quarantine, enjoying being with your family and nature, etc., and then kind of becoming jaded, becoming lonely, becoming, I like you said, I like how you said it, like seeing the world break down around you. Um, I think that's a lot of people's journey. You know, I think as I watch in both in my own life and just in families around, I kind of saw that pattern of like everyone kind of enjoyed it at first, kind of living it up, you know, and then there was a moment where it was like, okay, this isn't fun anymore, you know, and like everyone started to get lonely and started to there was just kind of almost a depression that set in, and I thought that's interesting that you said like you felt like you got mean. I think from an outside perspective, like I would never describe you as mean. So I think
You'd be
you're
surprised.
probably, I think you're probably a little bit hard on yourself in some senses,
Yeah.
but I think that's really, like you said, I think that's really wise to see yourself, to see that a growth point for you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that's interesting that you say it that way. Um, you mentioned you mentioned one other thing earlier about a lesson you learned about conversations with God. Can you share that?
Um, Something God taught me was that the most important conversations you can ever have are with God and not other people. Because if your intentions are honorable and you talk to God, you tell him what you need, what you want, what you're feeling, he's going to honor that how he sees fit. I think the universe kind of works in a way to where God is so powerful that if he wants something to happen, it's going to happen whether you put up a fight or not.
I think that's really key, and what what I kind of shared with you earlier that I think is really important about kind of that what you felt was revealed to you about there's the conversations with God. That's often, conversations with people are easy to place value in because they're tangible, and you're and sometimes in prayer or just kind of letting out your feelings to God, it's not as tangible. You just kind of feel like you're just kind of unloading in a lot of ways, and but I think that's a great. I'm so thankful that God taught you that and that you shared that, because I think that's super important. Um, that those conversations are so much more important.
Yeah. And like you said, conversations with people are good because you get immediate feedback most of the time, but very rarely do I, get immediate feedback from God, because most of the time it's just me sitting in my bed, screaming at my ceiling about my problems and stuff.
Screaming? You're screaming?
No,
Should I talk with your sisters and say, have you heard screaming from Andrew's bedroom?
They probably have a couple times. I do weird stuff. I'm a weird guy. But I most of it is talking to God, directed towards my
talking passionately.
Talking passionately towards my ceiling.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, I think the pattern that you've seen in your life from quarantine, from coronavirus, from all the things that comes with that is very. I think a lot of people will relate to that. So I'm really thankful that you've kind of shared that it's not been all roses, that
No.
because I think that's very few people that's been their experience.
And another thing I learned that we kind of have, we humans like to imagine ourselves as always in the right morally. If we get in an argument with someone, we don't like to admit that we're wrong. but asking for forgiveness and realizing that you're in the wrong, I think God really honors that when you take responsibility for the things that you've done and not trying to hide.
I think that's so good. I think that's completely true. And that's something I've seen in my own life, is just the way that God honors our pure motives, honors our pure heart. And so I think that's so true, and I'm glad that you've experienced that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing with me, man, and sharing with everyone here. I just asked you. So today's Monday, and I just asked him yesterday. So this is all I on short notice. You've kind of been sharing that, which is really good.
Yeah.
So kind of the way that I've ended each little conversation is just asking how we can be praying for you, for you now you're moving into a completely new transition, completely new time of life. So what are some things we can be praying for you about?
I want to go to Hong Kong.
Okay.
So
is that a reality or is that just a dream?
It's more of a fantasy at this point.
Okay.
But pray for Andrew. Our hashtag pray for Andrew to go to Hong Kong.
Okay, that's a long hashtag. Andrew to Hong Kong. That's hashtag Andrew to Hong Kong.
How about just Andrew Kong?
Andrew Kong. That makes a lot of sense. People will understand exactly.
Andy Hong.
Any of those will work. So that's one. What about like with college? Is there anything with Nicholas T? Is there anything, relationally, or just like things you're nervous about, stressed about?
I just kind of pray that I can be intentional in college, have my priorities right, and I pray that God really takes me in the direction that I need to go. Because I want to be a teacher, and I guess I need to learn how to teach. And I still want to be silly in college, but I need to be in the right direction.
For sure. You can be silly and in the right direction. That's completely okay and very much a possibility and a reality. So
yeah.
Well, that's great, man. Let me pray for you right now, and everyone who's watching, if you would pray with us here. So Jesus, I'm so grateful for Andrew and everything that he's meant to our youth group for the last 4 years. He's been such a joy, and as I've watched him grow and mature, and like he said, his silliness, but also his wisdom that he brings and the way that he interacts with you, God, that is so fun to watch and experience. And I pray for the things he's mentioned, hashtag Andrew to Hong Kong, or whatever the hashtag is, if that's a reality, that as he's thinking about that, but also as he's going to Asbury and with a new roommate that he's never met, that relationally that would be a good situation as he is learning with specifically his major in history and with teaching, that you would give him a passion for that. And like he said, that he wouldn't lose his silliness, but be moving in the right direction. I think that's so key. And also I just pray for him with having to go to school with a mask and the safety and all that stuff, that you would just keep him safe and keep him healthy. And I'm grateful for Andrew, and I know everyone watching is so grateful for him too. We're thankful in your name. Amen.
I was kind of smiling during that whole prayer and looking at the camera.
That's okay. People were either enjoying that or they were closing their eyes, like myself.
Yeah. And if it's on YouTube and they close their eyes, they can rewatch it now.
That's right. They can rewind and watch.
Yeah.
Do you have anything, last words for our audience?
I'll still be at this church next year, just in the big church place.
The big church, and you are
volunteering for the middle school.
Serving with middle school,
Yeah.
which is so awesome. The middle schoolers will be blessed.
Yeah,
Do you know which group you're with?
I don't know. Either like the fifth grade. I think the fifth grade boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fifth grade boys. It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting. All right, friends. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Andrew. You're a blessing. Ciao for now.